Says not yet. Here we go. I don't know what's happening. It didn't even play. It doesn't even want to play, man.
Did you try
And
playing?
look, weird to have somebody tuned in.
All right.
I tried to play the open and nothing happened.
Well, here we are. Welcome everybody again. This is Ron, and with me always is.
And I'm Mike, and I'm going to apologize right up front. It seems like we're having some sort of technical difficulty. So Kenny is already there. Kenny, just text us and tell us, what does it look like to you?
The show, Kenny, the show.
Yeah, not the others, not the other stuff, Kenny.
So anyway, while Mike's doing that and talking to Ken,
he said the open played and he saw us both.
Okay, so tonight we're going to talk about something that first off, I want to say yesterday was my birthday. I turned 55 years old yesterday, and just a big thank you to all the birthday wishes and the well wishes. I greatly appreciate it. God bless you all. Glad you're a part of my life. So that got me thinking. Mike and I were trying to come up with a topic, and I said, well, let's talk about getting older, because a lot of times you don't realize, the shit that you thought you knew back then, and then all of a sudden you get in your 50s and 60s, and you're like, okay, nobody told me this shit.
Right.
So, point being,
go ahead, Laro.
Point being, like I said, turned 55 yesterday, so I'm going to break this out with a story. When I was in my 20s, I used to have this saying. I'd stretch and I'd be like, Lordy, I feel like I'm 40. Well, nowadays it's not so funny anymore, because even when I was in my 40s, it hurt to stretch and it hurt to get up. And, now being 55, man, you stretch, you run the risk of pulling a muscle, you run the risk of, getting leg cramps or all kinds of funky stuff now that you didn't get when you were in your 20s and your 30s.
Right.
Where you at, Mike? What are you doing?
And I know and please forgive me. It may be on my end, because Kenny says he sees us, and so I'm trying to pull up another monitor.
No, you look good.
To see if I can. All right.
Just keep talking.
I know that much, but
got the perfect face for radio.
I have had for 40-something years. No, and welcome. And as you start to tune in, let us know you're there. And I'll try not to butcher it too bad, because there's something going on this end that Ronnie is sort of hanging up, and I can't really hear what he's saying. So I'll do my best. So maybe what we need to do, Ron, is just point at me when you need me to say something. I don't know. But yeah, like Ronnie's probably said there, one of the things we talked about today. First of all, this is a sign of aging. I didn't realize it was Thursday. See, right now you froze up on your finger point at me, just so you know. Oh, hey, look, you can see the boo-boo finger. That's the one I cut off.
Oh, there you go.
Pretty
cootie finger.
Yeah, it's the boo-boo finger. So there's our cousin Matt. He says he hears us both. Okay. So one of the and it's interesting, and I know why Ron wanted to do this, because and again, happy birthday. Ronnie turned a year older just a couple of days ago.
Yesterday.
And what's really funny is prior to it, he gets bit by a brown recluse spider, and then so yesterday he tells me, hey, by the way, I may have torn a rotator cuff in my shoulder. And so today, when I ask, what do you want to talk about? Let's talk about getting older. The crap we wish we'd have known back then that we know now. And so let's face it. It got me to even just right now, I started thinking, did your parents ever tell you, wait until you're older?
Yeah.
Then you'll get it. You'll understand. And well, here we are.
Yeah.
So there is some truth to it, isn't there?
Absolutely. I told Ken Hall and I had this conversation when he was here visiting me in Vegas. how, your conversations with your friends go from, who you're dating, what's the new bands out, the new whatever, to what kind of medication you're taking, how many milligrams do you take? Oh yeah, I take the same thing, or the doctor had me on that, now they have me on a different one. And how many times do you get up at night to go pee every night? 2 or 3 times. And it's just all the shit that you never think about when you're younger. When it brought to mind when Michelle and I were dating, and mind you, this was 18 years ago. We'd be up till 2, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, talking on the phone, hanging out, doing whatever, and still get them to go to work at 7 o'clock the next day.
Yeah. And so bear with me. What I'm doing is I'm actually monitoring you off of another monitor because mine in the house aren't working right.
All good.
So it's like having a delay. I'm speaking and then I hear myself talking. It's funny as hell.
Freaking you out.
But yeah, you're right. I mean, stuff we did when we were younger, we can do stuff till 3, 4 in the morning and then be at work by 7 the next day. Listen, I go to bed. I'm still kind of a late bird. I go to bed at like 10, 11 o'clock at night. But I get up at 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. But it's starting to catch up with me.
Yeah, I'm usually in bed by 8 o'clock. Doesn't mean I go to sleep at 8 o'clock, but I'm in bed by 8 o'clock, and I'm the early riser, man. I'm up at 4:30 in the morning. Kenny, it would be nice to have the wisdom of age with the agility. Boy, you're just not whistling Dixie there, are you, buddy?
Right. So then again, I apologize for the late delays. This is going to look so stupid when it plays back.
Memories.
But anyway. So I tell you what we'll do is, Ron, you just share something and then I'll share something. And we'll just cue each other when we're done. Because I can see you in real time on the video.
Yeah.
I can't hear you.
Yeah. So, what got me thinking about it were just a few funny stories, because I remember when I turned 50, and Michelle's a few years younger than I am, and I got my AARP card, which I'm sure we all remember that day. So it's like, holy crap, am I actually that old now? And she would tease me about it. So what I did was I ordered her one as well. So she got hers in the mail, and mind you, at this time she's only like 47, maybe 48. And but I tell you what, man, she used the hell out of that. We get discounts on hotel rooms, discounts on whatever. The first thing she does, do you take AAA, because we have AAA, and also do you take AARP? I'm like, oh yeah, sure. You want to make fun of the old man for getting it, but you want to reap the benefits of being married to an older man.
Right. I told you earlier this week, that, or maybe even last time we did this, there's another sign of getting old. I can't remember what the hell we talked about. But Dad used that. And, when we would take our motorcycle rides and Dad would check into, we check into motels, and Daddy would, he was, I got this card, I got that. And I'd look over, there's like, some retirement thing, and then he'd pull out his AARP card, and I'd go, you kind of want to shrink down a little bit, like, I'm not with this dude. Now that I'm older, I realize I want to take advantage of all the shit I can.
Amen,
like,
dude.
How much do I get? It's like you just said, how much can I save on this? How much can, so now I find myself wanting to run with like 70 and 80-year-old people. It makes me feel younger, but I get to take advantage of the AARP discounts.
Yeah,
we got lots of people chiming in. Let's see, Kenny did the same thing with Honey. Yeah.
See, so it's not just us.
Carolyn,
so I was a quick story, Mike. I was playing golf with these guys. Me and Ron Jr. actually were playing golf with these dudes, and it was funny because there was me. And my son's name is Ron. So there's Ron. The two guys we were playing with was Raj and Rod. So we had Ron, Rod, and Raj. And these two dudes were like in their late 70s, early 80s. And, we were talking about prices of stuff. And I'm like, yeah, it cost me X amount of money to come play golf today. He's like, no, it didn't only cost me, $19.95. I'm like, well, how the hell is that? He's like, because I'm fucking old. I'm like, hey, whatever. Matt used to go out drinking until 3 a.m. and then do
even just. I mean, I just thinking about, But when you think about it, it's like the banner says when we're not getting comments. Would you like to know now what you know now when we were younger? It's like that song says, I wish that I knew what I know now when I was younger. And I do. I mean, Carol and I were talking earlier. What would you like to know? That now. What would you like to know? She brought up. Can you think of jobs you might have had when you were younger? Would you go back and stay there? I started my career pretty much at KRDO in Colorado Springs. To this day, when we see time on a clock, and it says 12:40, Carolyn and I would just say, "Hey, what time is it?" It's 12:40. That was the position. It was 12:40 a.m. KRDO. Would I still be there? I don't know if I'd still be there, but I would have stayed there longer. There are a couple of cars I wish I could, I would have, knowing now what they'd be worth, I wish I'd have held on to them.
Your El Camino.
So there is, and it's like Kenny said earlier, there's great wisdom in being older. Sure. But the other thing, let me ask you this, Ron, because you just turned what are you now, 55?
Yeah.
Are you still there?
Yes.
Okay. So at 55, at what point, I was really thinking about this today, and I don't want to get, morbid, but at what point does your mortality start to kick in? When we were younger, we thought we'd live forever. And now I find myself understanding, I can get eaten by a bear tomorrow. It changes your attitude. Have you made any changes in how you do things today as opposed to maybe 30 years ago?
Oh, absolutely. Especially in my line of work, I do construction and we do remodels. And right now we're in the middle of doing Christmas lights. And when I say Christmas lights, we do everything from a small single story house up to, Red Rock Casino, Green Valley Ranch, big jobs. And so now I work smarter, not harder. That's my favorite saying on the job site is, I don't climb up ladders if it's not necessary. I always wear gloves. I have knee pads on if I'm on the ground, to where these younger cats, they're like, oh, no, I don't need all that. Well, wait till your knees hurt so bad that you have to, tap your feet on the ground for 10 minutes before you get out of bed every morning. And you lose the feeling in your foot because your knees hurt so bad. And, you may, like you said, you may think you're invincible now, but I guarantee you, man, it's not going to last forever. And when it comes around, man, it hits you like you just didn't see it coming.
Doesn't it seem like time has flown by to you? And as I'm 61, getting ready to turn 62. And another thing that I notice is I tell people all the time, it seems like my days revolve around the fact that I constantly see myself standing in front of my bathroom mirror brushing my teeth. And by that, I mean, when I'm brushing, like this morning, when I was brushing my teeth, I thought, didn't I just do this? Wasn't I just here? That's how fast the days seem to be going by.
Yeah.
I don't know if that does it for anybody else.
No, it does. I agree. It's I kind of had a morbid thought the other day. I was driving around, and for some reason, in my mind, I thought I was much older, or the time was off, or whatever. But in my mind, I was like, I got about 10 years of life left in me, and it freaked me out to the point where I called Michelle, and she's like, Ron, you're 55. You're not 75. I'm like, but it just, that's, and I knew it right after I thought it. I knew that wasn't the case. But Mike, it just sent a chill of mortality down my spine that made me think so many things. It's like, I got my grandkids. I got my family. I got my friends. I got, all the things you're going to miss out on. And
Yeah.
again, not to get on that morbid track, but mortality is a bitch.
And again, that brings us back to, do you wish you knew then what you know now? Do you wish you had this wisdom? And in some cases, Ron, do you wish you had even the thoughts that both you and I have had? Because I've had the same thing. If we could have thought about this back then, would we have changed anything? Because I don't think the course of the life would change. You would just made some different decisions. Like I said, I might have stayed at KRDO a little bit longer. I might have held on to a couple of cars. No, Kenny, it wouldn't have been the Galaxy 500. That wasn't really a babe magnet car. But thinking back, yeah, my El Camino, the '69 El Camino, I kind of wish I'd have kept it and held on to it. The '70 Malibu and the '71 Malibu that Carolyn had when we got married. That car would be worth a fortune today. There's, like Kenny said earlier, there's wisdom now that we didn't have back then. But I couldn't agree with you more, Ron, and that is, I do think about that. It's funny you brought that up. And again, it's not a morbidity issue. It's a reality issue. Is, when you think you're going to live forever, when I first got into radio, let's take that for example. My biggest goal was to make $25,000 a year because I thought that's what rich people made. Now that I've been into the business for nearly 45 years, now I'm in a position to where I'm trying desperately to move up the ladder, and I find that I'm back. I'm like 18 trying to pine for a promotion, and I feel like the clock is on because I want to be able to enjoy the next position for more than 3 or 4 years, and that's not morbidity, that's reality.
Yeah, and it's like I've been self-employed for so long. I've been self-employed for over 20 years, and that thought alone just scares the hell out of me. If I had to go back into the workforce and get a job, I mean, who the hell wants to hire a 55-year-old man that's been self-employed for 20 years? That even me, I'm like, I wouldn't want to hire somebody like that because like, they're going to come in and I could probably pay 3 20-year-olds what I would have to pay this guy. You know what I mean? And it's a scary thought because I really don't have any ambition of going back in the workforce because I have some control issues, and those of you that know me know that very well. And but no, do I wish I knew then what I know now? Absolutely. And would I have made some changes in my life or decisions? 100%. I mean, what person wouldn't? I mean, you'd be a fool to not make a change of a course in your life based on the information that you have from being older.
Yeah. I like the part you made, the point you made earlier, and that is, again, you being self-employed for all the years you have been, do you even want to go out and find a job that you're going to have to travel back and forth for? Look, what my situation's been like, and I don't want to get into all that, but when you're 61 and facing the reality of having to start over, that did kicked me in, kind of. Reality set in, and I truly thought, gosh darn, I'm going to have to go say hi to people at Walmart, or say welcome to Home Depot. And can I tell you this? If you've not done it at 61, apply for jobs at 61 years old. It's not easy. I used to be able to get replies immediately. Now I don't hear from anybody. I call and check back, and well, we filled that position, or we just didn't get your information, whatever the case is. So I do feel handicapped a little bit by my age. I feel handicapped sometimes by, just my age and the fact that I'm a man. So I thank God for the position I do have. That's why, I'm doing something that, God put me back into. He's been telling me for months he's going to put me back there, because I can do it with both hands tied behind my back. But yeah, it's funny because now, there are some positions that are available, and I feel like I'm 18 back at KRDO trying my best to, impress the higher ups and show them what I'm capable of.
But you know what, Mike, that comes back to one of our previous conversations about the work ethic then and now, and I know we're talking about,
Yeah.
talking about what I knew, and if I knew that it was going to be so hard to hire people nowadays, I might have gotten into a different career. Because let's face it, man, the cats and the young folk in today's day and age, and I'm not trying to bag on anybody. This is just a general statement. Don't have the work ethic that we had when we were kids. Now, you talk about feeling 18 years old and going out and applying for jobs. Half these people today that are in their 20s and 30s don't know how to apply for a job, or they apply for a job and they don't show up, or they get hired and they don't show up, or they get hired and they're like, oh, $20 an hour, I need to make $50 an hour. Well, you're not worth 10, so it's a struggle, because we are blessed with the fact that we were taught how to be productive human beings when we were young. So we carry that with us as we're older.
You're spot on.
We carry that with us when we're older, and it's the only word I can think of, Mike, is disheartening of the way the work ethic is in today's day and age.
That's. And I'm taking a couple of things away from there, and it's still in line with the topic of the evening, and that is, do you wish you knew then what you know now? There's wisdom in where we're at. What if we'd have possessed it back then? And work ethic is one of them. Also, the desire to pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. Early on in the shutdown of my business, one of the first people to lift me up is the cat that's sharing the screen with me. And, one of the things you said to me was, look, if I know nothing about you, it's that I don't need to worry about you. You're going to be fine. And that comes back to just the way we were raised. You just can't sit around and grovel. You need to go and do what you got to do to take care of the family, pay the bills, get things back in order. I don't know that the younger generation today has that same willpower that you and I and others that are watching right now and that will watch have. And that is, look, when it goes south, you can either blame somebody or, whine and cry and bitch about it, or you can get up off your ass and go do something about it. And like I said, I was actually sold on the fact I was going to go, say hi to people at Walmart, welcome people to Home Depot, and I was cool with it. Look, I know another guy that went through sort of the same thing, ended up working at, I think it was a Lowe's or a Home Depot.
Yeah, Home Depot.
When did Home Depot?
Yeah.
And then Kenny, I saw you put something earlier about. And I was going to say, Kenny had posted something about, or down here about hoping to retire at 67. I'll tell you this. I have also sold myself on the fact I'm not going to retire. It's not that I don't want to. It's just that I think retirement for me, I read a book that really screwed me up. It's called The Happiness Equation, and it's sort of based on retiring. And after I read it 2 or 3 times, I thought, gosh darn, I'm going to work until I drop. And it's not because I don't want to do it because I have to. I'm going to do it because I want to feel viable. Do I want to retire? No. Do I want to relax? Yes. And to me, there's a difference there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And Michelle and I have this conversation quite a bit because, Michelle's been in the same industry for 27 years. And, we talk about retirement and where we want to be. I can guarantee you that I'm not going to retire well at all, because I'm not a sit around kind of person, man. Mike, you can verify this. We were raised that if you wake up alive, get your ass to work. And that's instilled to me to this day. I mean, ask my wife. I can't sit and watch TV on a Saturday or Sunday because I'm just like, oh God, I could be doing this, I could be doing that, and so if and when I do actually retire, guarantee I'll have 5 side jobs going on. Yeah.
Side
Amen,
hustles,
Michelle.
baby. You're going to have retirement side hustles.
Amen. Like Michelle said,
Well,
glad our kids
and I
have
know that to be
great
true
work
because
ethic.
I know when I called you yesterday to sing to you happy birthday, it must have been 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning on your side of the earth.
5:30, and I was on my
you and
third
your
cup of
lovely
coffee.
wife were out having coffee.
Yeah. Yeah. And
I was still working on my first.
If you look at what Michelle said right there, is I'm glad our kids have great work ethic, and they do, and it's something that we instilled in them, and it's the biggest issue I have right now, Mike, with a lot of the younger folks is just their sense of entitlement. It's like, where the hell do you get off thinking that I owe you dick? It's like, work for it. If you want something, go out and work for it.
Yep, I don't disagree. I kind of wonder. I just put that back up there. I wish I knew what I know now when I was younger. And the reason why I put that back up there is, think about this. We've been talking in the last 20, 25 minutes about work ethic and some of the things that we wish we didn't, that we know now that we wish we knew when we were younger. Given that concept, in another 20 or 30 years, do you think this group right now, the Gen X, Gen Zers, do you think they're going to look back and ask themselves the same question? Do you think they're going to have this same conversation?
No, not at all. I don't. And unfortunately, most of that is.
Yeah, I don't either.
Most of that is because, and I hate to say it, not bagging on parents and stuff, because I know we're all busy in today's day and age, but somebody has to slap these kids into shape and point them in the right direction to help them help themselves.
Yeah. That's why when I hear a young person speak about, and we don't go there a lot here, but when I hear them speak about faith, morals, family, church, whatever the case is, but when I hear them speak about that and speak about it positively, I feel like I have hope for the future. But then when I see and hear some of the other crap that I do, I just think, oh man, I weep for the next 20 years.
Yeah, and you know what, Mike? It's not even really so much us that I weep for. It's my kids and my grandkids, and you think it's bad what we're dealing with right now. I will guarantee you it's going to get a lot worse before it gets a lot better.
You said it yourself. The problem is, and they don't want to hear it. That's the other problem, is where we could hear it when we were younger and we could accept it. Except for those moments where we were told, wait till you get older. Well, here we are. And now we understand that concept. I just don't think Gen Z, Gen X, and those are to come, whatever the generation is now, our grandkids, it's just, I just don't think they're going to have this same conversation in 20 or 30 years that we're having right now. I just don't see them going back and saying, gosh, I wish I'd have known then what I know now.
So, Mike, let me ask you this. We're almost 30 minutes in, but let me ask you this. What is one thing that you could think of that if you knew when you were 18 that you know now, what is one of the main things that you would have changed or had done differently that you feel would have had an impact on your life today?
Woof. Good question. The first thing that comes to mind, honestly, is I think I would have worked on my education more. I find that today I'm a pretty good teacher, but I'm a hungry student, and I wish I would have been a hungrier student when I was younger.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, for those of you that don't know my past, I didn't make it past the 10th grade, dropped out, got my GED, and really been doing my own thing since then. I was like, 16 years old, and I think that's the one thing I would have changed, was to maybe stayed at home a little bit longer and stayed at home a little bit longer, learned a little bit more, but also career wise, I wish I would have had a better direction of where I wanted to go career wise when I was younger.
That's actually a good point. And I've told you all that, so I don't want to spend a lot of time there. But I knew when I was 12 what I wanted to do. Did I have different ideas, after that? Yeah, a couple of things occurred to me. But when I was 12, I knew I wanted to be a disc jockey.
Like what Ken says there. Yeah, they won't wish they know now. They're going to wish those fuckers didn't lie to them. And that's, and I laugh in jest, but amen. That is the absolute truth, man. It's like, we need to go back to the shit that we dealt with when we grew up as kids. I mean, it built men and women is what it did. I was so lucky my mom and dad kicked my butt and made me the man I am. Having my disability would have been so easy to take it. Oh no, absolutely, man. And like I said, it's that sense of entitlement that I have today.
I need to, and Jubal, I hope you don't mind. And I know we're against the clock here, but I got to tell you about my friend Jubal Gillis. Jubal, I'm not, and forgive me, Jubal, please. Jubal has, I think it's a neuromuscular issue, and he's had it all of his life. And the funniest thing I've ever heard anybody say came out of my friend Jubal Gillis's mouth. We were racing one night. All of our kids, Jubal's son, Michael, they were all racing go-karts at the time. And I think somebody had asked Jubal, how do we know when you're drunk? And so he just looked at us and smiled. He said, because I'll walk straight and I won't slur my speech. And today it is by far, Jubal, I have to tell you, it's by far the funniest thing I've ever heard anybody say. Great. And that's when I fell in love with Jubal Gillis, because that's the guy he is. And I got to tell you this much about Jubal. Nobody ever felt sorry for him. He's earned everything he's got, and he's extremely successful. And he's just an all-around amazing cat. To say that I love Jubal Gillis is an understatement.
That's fantastic, man. That's fantastic.
So there you go.
So I'm going to tell a quick story, and I hope my youngest daughter doesn't get upset about this, but I have my stepdaughter McKenna, whom I love to death. She was born with only an arm down to about just past her elbow, and she's 21 years old, graduating UNLV in December. Uber smart, athletic, and has been dealing with this her whole life. And I tell you one thing, she does not let it affect her life. You will not get the better of her because of it. And I have to tell you, I'm just so damn proud of her because of that. I remember coaching her soccer team when she was 4 or 5 years old, and kids can be mean. Kids would be like, oh my God, what happened to your arm? And I'd be like, well, that's what happens when you get a B on your report card in my house. And she get all flustered. Stop it. Stop saying that, but God love her. I mean, you can't take her spirit, and that's something that was instilled by her parents.
And that's her upbringing. I'll guarantee you. I've only got to meet her a couple of times, and I can tell you, I've seen the pictures, the college pics, and she's amazing, and she's absolutely beautiful. Looks just like her mom.
Yeah. Well, I know we're on a time delay with the voice stuff, so I'm going to say, Mike, love you. Thank you so much again. Ken, good show. Kind of went off the rails a little bit there, but I think there's some stuff that we needed to talk about, and I'm sure we'll talk about later on. And
I think so.
God bless you all. Thank you for joining us. Hopefully, see you next week. And Mike finishes off.
Now, before we go, I want to just ask you, we can just do it now. Since we both might be busy next Thursday, are we going to skip next Thursday?
Yeah. What's going on? Isn't there like a turkey thing going on next Thursday? Something like that? Yeah. How about we do that? We'll take next Thursday off. So 2 weeks, we'll be back online live. Please join us. Tell your friends. Let's get this growing. Get the word out there. We love having all you guys.
And I promise I'll work on the sound problem. We'll have it fixed for next time. Love you, little brother.
All right.